Okay, so this is going to be the first of a series of videos. This one is going to be on how the government works and how the government makes money. And it's all done with maritime law. Maybe a lot of people have heard maritime law and they wonder, how do I know this is true? What is maritime law? Well, maritime law is the law of the sea or the law of the water. It's the law of commerce. Everything that is brought over on a ship via the sea or the water is brought here on a boat for sale. And the government has actually taken that and used maritime law to make profits off the people. And I'll just kind of show you how that works, how the government works. Okay, so the government money. And they did it maritime law, which is the wall between you and all of your natural rights. You might actually call that a night maritime law. So what happens with maritime law? Well, a ship comes in. And it comes in by the sea or the water. Now, for the government and some other organizations, that's called the Holy See. And we're going to help you see things a new way. So a ship comes in, it's got all its product and cargo on it that is owned by someone else or it's for sale. And when the ship comes in, the ship is berthed. Okay? And when the ship is berthed, it's berthed at the dock. And it's got all its cargo for sale, and because this is a monetary valued product, the captain delivers what's called a certificate of manifest. Certificate of manifest. Somebody's about to eat good. They're making some money. And then he delivers the product. Now, when you're born, your mother's water breaks. You know how a wave breaks? And you are birthed. Okay? And you're birthed by the dock. Tour. And unbeknownst to your parents, the government says, hey, you have to register your kids with us. Kind of like you register a car with them. And so, since a new child has been manifested into the world, it's a certificate of birth. Specifically, your live birth, live cargo. Okay? And you're born into the delivery room. And that's in the maternity ward of the state. Okay, so This is maritime law. Okay? And that's how you're brought into the seas of commerce and how you're monetized. Now let's take a look at that word doctor again. Doctor. Okay. And let's just add an E so you recognize what that's actually saying. Tor. What's another word for tor? Well, tear. Tear something, tore something. Or you may have also heard is you rent. If someone has torn clothes, they rent their clothes, they tore them. Rent. Okay. And that's how your mom and dad became your parents. They rent. They parent you. Pair, rent. Kind of like when you register a car with the state and you turn it over to the state, and so you have to pay every year so that you can continue to keep and use the car. Well, when you register children with the state, you have to pay every year. More specifically, the kids have to pay. Born into this world is a free gift, but not really, because the way things are set up with government, you have to pay. And you inherit something called the national debt. And you have to pay for that debt incurred by someone who could print all the money in the world if they wanted to. If they cared about you the way they said they do, then they would print the money that they need to do what they do and leave you alone, allowing you to keep what you've actually worked for. But you have to pay them their fee. Now, it doesn't have to be that way. We can change it. But before we get into that, I want to talk to you about a few more things of how this works. What happens is your parents get that certificate of birth, and that is actually printed on securities paper. More specifically, bond paper. Securities paper, bond paper, like stocks. And you've been delivered to the stocks, and now you've been born, and your bond age begins. You've been monetized and turned into product, and you've been delivered. Let's see, where do I want to go from here? Okay, so you've been delivered. It's bondage, and who comes over in bondage on a ship? That would be slaves. And that's, welcome to your citizenship. So if you're going to claim citizenship, it better be yours, because if it's owned by someone else, you're going to have to pay. Okay, so how did they get you into a law of the sea, into a law of the water, into the law of commerce, and you don't live in the ocean? Well, they enticed you, and they got you to run your ship aground. is a river. And, actually, let's leave some room for you. And your citizenship. Okay? So there you are in your citizenship, on the river. And what do you find next to the river? Well, you find the riverbanks. So they enticed you with some money. And you ran your ship aground, but you never got off. Remember, you're always claiming, I have my citizenship. And that's how they got you working for them. You working, but you gave up that when you got on someone else's ship. You got on the citizenship. And it all goes back to Rome. When the government prints money, they use chrome plates. And those plates print money. Also called gold certificates. They're not gold. Not anymore. That's what they represent in your mind. But they're green. Your little guy. And remember, on your birth certificate, it has your mother's maiden name, like a maiden voyage. All right. So, the government's money, they also do it on bond paper. They create bonds all the time. And they've got you working for them. It's a giant pyramid scheme. And it's all for the purpose of slavery. They like to print denominations. All kinds of denominations. See? When you turn to this stuff instead of each other, remember the Holy See? You enter demonic nations. of domination. Demon. So, again, it's all about that ship you're on and how you're working, but you were delivered into bondage on slavery. So the next video is going to be on money and the legal system and how words are used to cast spells. So hopefully that'll open your eyes some. Hopefully this helps you kind of understand maritime law and what's happened here on this beautiful land that we live on. And I just want to real quickly remind you, you don't live in a state. State is nothing more than a piece of paper. You live on the land, you live in your body, and hopefully, if you live in a state, you live in a state of happiness. So, I'm going to, again, do the next video for you here in a little while, but do us a favor, like, subscribe, and keep watching for more videos. Thanks for watching.